From Lalate headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons Lalate.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Street and Stimulus, in which we go over how Wall Street impacts your stimulus packages, especially the fourth stimulus package, and how stimulus impacts Wall Street. Now, this is always a short recording, but added to the mix is a shocking development on the Senate floor minutes ago, where there's a lot of twists and turns occurring at this very moment about unemployment benefits. I'll have that update in this recording as well. Translation, it hasn't been decided. It's just all going all over the place, but I'll have that update for you as well. The big detail across the board today was not that, but that Treasury yields continue to go higher. The highest we've seen in over a year, 1.613, as the payroll numbers from February were released, showing 375,000 new jobs created in the month of February. They're still missing 8 million jobs from a year ago. That means not a fourth stimulus package, but a fifth or sixth. I'll have all the details and the exciting news as Afternoons LA continues right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Yeah. This is your latest update breaking just shortly before 2 p.m. on the West Coast about your $14 third stimulus check. As you know, I have a big update for you at the top of the hour. This is a short recording. Your $14 third stimulus check bill will pass as early as tomorrow. The vote is underway in the Senate, finishes tomorrow, and then the bill is off to the House as early as tomorrow and then signed by the President. There's been a series of strange events happening in the last half an hour, which involve the following. Some Democrats have proposed, Democrats, not Republicans, have proposed to change FPUC instead of going from March to August at $400 a week to go from March to September at $300 a week. And also allow that the first set of payments under that period of time would not be taxable. Now, this is not actually law yet, number one. Number two, it's not actually bill approved yet, number two. And they don't even have all Democrats on board for this, number three. Some viewers, some analysts are getting very confused as to, is this a blockade? Is it this? Is it Manchin? Is it that? Let me make it very clear. It's just votorama. It's just all over the place. You can't sit back and say one thing or the other. Now, I will tell you how these things unfold when it's broadcast media. Some broadcast media likes to scare viewers. They get ratings by scaring you. I'm not kidding. They scare you by saying, Manchin this, you're gonna die because of Manchin. They scare you. That's absolutely not what's happening. In fact, Manchin hasn't even said what he's going to do. There's a whole fight about which vote goes bill, what amendment goes first, and what amendment goes after that. It's just, it's dramatics. It's dramatics. Bottom line, you're getting a $14 stimulus check. And also, on the backside of this, there's certainly a clear indication of what the Republicans are trying to do. What the Republicans are trying to do is cause a means to get this to go slower than the dates and times and the timeline I'm showing you, so that things would go slower and slower and slower and cause your unemployment benefits to lapse. That's certainly documented in trying to drag this out past Saturday or Sunday. Not happening just yet, but I wanted you to know basically what's going on. Some Democrats have proposed to cut FPUC from 400 to 300 to go from, instead of March to August, but March to September. There's not an agreement upon that yet universally. There's not agreement upon which vote is done. There's not agreement upon which amendment is voted upon. Things are still unfolding. You're still getting a stimulus check. It's not much of anything. And the concession is that the first part of the payments would not be taxable. So in a way, you actually make more money on it. Because remember, FPUC is taxable. FPC is always taxable. So they're saying the first set of it would not be taxable. So in a way, I don't even have time to do the calculations. To say that $10,000 of FPC is not taxable as a payoff to extend it 1 month later and do it a little bit cheaper, you may actually make up more money on it. So it's just a lot of stuff unfolding. Let's cut to street and stimulus, boy. So what happened today is the jobs number, job creations in the month of February was good. It was 375, but you know, there's 8 million jobs missing from a year ago. 8 million jobs missing from a year ago. What does this mean for analysts? Analysts are saying basically you're going to need to see at least 500,000 jobs created every month. And at that rate, it would be 16, 17 months until we're back to full reemployment of this economy. Now, the President of the United States has made very clear his policy for stimulus, that he will not stop providing stimulus until reemployment has occurred. What is reemployment? Reemployment is basically if you had lost a job because of the pandemic, you'll get reemployed back. So he wants to see unemployment numbers jump back to where they were pre-pandemic. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Jerome Powell has said that as well, that you need to see the full economy reemployed. And until we see that, federal policies to support this economy will not change. And that's the same for the federal government. Goldman Sachs chief economist Jane Hastings told News Today that the impact from this pandemic for purposes of unemployment could expand into 2022. This is as 379,000 jobs were created in the month of February, but just still not enough. We're still at 6.2% unemployment. Overall, I'll definitely say this is a good number, but we're very far away from where we need to be. I don't think we can take it for granted. I think that's what expansionary monetary and fiscal policy is right here, because you want to minimize the time until you get something normal. How do you look at this? How do you analyze this? It's very simple. You may see in May this country looking very different than how it looks today. You may see businesses reopen. You may see yourself inside a store. You may see the store at 50% capacity that is currently at 10% capacity, and you may see everyone in that store 80% vaccinated. Let's just use that as an example. Doesn't mean that there's not more stimulus. Why? Because of the people in the store, the unemployment number may still be the same. It's when we look at these long-term unemployment numbers that if people are unemployed, it doesn't make a difference whether they're vaccinated or whether businesses are reopened. If they're still unemployed, they don't have money. And in light of what I started on the top of this video is that, hey, if they're still unemployed in September or August, and we're going off of unemployment benefits, not that we would, then you need to have more stimulus. Wall Street looks at it as the following, that Treasury yields are surging. Treasury yields are surging, 1.61%, because of things that don't have to do with jobs. And for things that don't have anything to do with jobs, then the issue is everything else, then what happens to jobs? When you look at jobs, job creation is the single most important indicator of where this economy is going. Job creation is the single most important factor when determining where this economy is going. And if you don't have job creation, then you don't have stimulus. Let's go back. When we looked at third stimulus being formulated in January and February, we knew you need a stimulus package. Then when we were wondering about fourth stimulus package, we were like, it's too soon in the future. No, it's not. Fourth stimulus package is the reopening play. Fourth stimulus is the reopening play. When the nation starts to reopen, you need a stimulus package ready to go. Well, guess what? That reopening play is in May. And if that reopening play is in May, then that stimulus package needs to start being worked on right now. But that's not even the harder question at issue. The harder question is the fifth stimulus package. Is there a fifth stimulus package? All indications now suggest there absolutely will have to be. If these long-term unemployment numbers stay at 6% interest, 6% unemployment numbers, if you show that only 500,000 jobs are being created across this country per month, then it'll take over a year. As that analyst said in that interview today, if you see unemployment numbers not rebounding in this economy until 2022, guess what? You need stimulus after stimulus after stimulus because people won't have money to pay for utilities, food, and internet as well. It's as simple as that. There's so many things happening across the board. And what I want you to understand is that when you see things from Wall Street's perspective, you need to look at a lot of different factors. Wall Street, when it's looking at the bond market, is looking at a volatile market that's excited about growth, excited about reopening, and concerned about inflation. Okay, that's what the bond market is looking at. That's not what the Federal Reserve and the White House is looking at. Sounds strange? It is. The bond market trades up, but that has nothing to do with what the White House and that the Federal Reserve is looking at for purposes of stimulus. They're looking at unemployment numbers. The bond market's not looking at unemployment numbers. It's looking at inflation and prices of goods. Bond market goes up. What happens to securities? Securities go down. That trading down of securities, again, has nothing to do with your stimulus. What has to do with your stimulus is the big economic numbers coming from Wall Street, like this morning. The payroll numbers. And when you see that the payroll numbers are basically impacted because of closed businesses, because of closed transportation, hospitality, you got it. But if they reopen in 2 months from now, are you going to see a surge of 500,000 new jobs a month? That's not enough. It's not enough. For determining fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and more, the numbers you need to watch all the time on this channel are unemployment numbers. Unemployment numbers, for whether it is long-term unemployment, new jobless claims, or job creation numbers, basically how many new jobs were made available in this economy. And if those numbers for long-term purposes show we're improving slowly, progressively good, but not shooting back up, we're on a long trajectory to rebound. And the longer the trajectory, the more stimulus packages you will need. It's at the top of the hour. We're there now. I'm so excited for you. I'll have all the details from the Senate floor and from the White House to Wall Street, and of course, this person, Elizabeth Warren. The exciting news about SSI, SSDI, reoccurring stimulus checks. Hey, Carolyn, they've become a Purple Hawk. There's Angie, and there's Bruce. And also what's happening from the Senate floor. Exciting news across the board. Stay with Lalate for more.